People say there's no generational prospect in the 2025 NFL draft, and that statement typically launches directly into a diatribe about the overuse of the word generational around draft season. And both things are true. There isn't a generational prospect in this draft, and we do water down superlatives like generational way too much. But there is a generational talent in this class, and his name, of course, is Travis Hunter. Hunter, who's a practical lock to be drafted in the top 5 in April, plays both sides of the ball. All throughout college, he was a starting wide receiver and a starting cornerback. Now, is he the best receiver or corner that we've seen in recent memory? No. He's a fantastic blue chip prospect, but he's not a generational prospect. His ability to play both sides of the ball at an elite level, however, and to do so at a full workload of cardio both ways, that is a generational talent. We never see a player who can do what he does. It's extremely unique. But because he plays both ways and did so as a full-time starter at both positions in college, there's an inevitable narrative nightmare on the horizon for whichever team drafts him. And it has everything to do with the hottest topic circling Hunter this draft cycle. How will he be used in the NFL? If you're part of the Tennessee faithful, you know just how many years the Titans have shaved off your life with the emotional roller coaster of sports. Or maybe the roller coaster of life is messing with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. They are our incredible sponsor for this video. Regardless, if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools you need to approach your life in a very different way. That's where our sponsor, BetterHelp, comes into play. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost if it's not the right fit. BetterHelp's platform makes finding a therapist easier because it's online and remote. BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. Plus, with our link, you get 10% off your first month. Start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/ATOZ sports and get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. In 2024, Travis Hunter averaged roughly 115 snaps per game. That's a full starter's workload of 50 to 60 snaps on both offense and defense. A player with that number of snaps is basically never coming off the field at their position. A lot remains to be seen about how Hunter will be used at the next level, but while his cardio ability is unquestionable, one thing is for certain. He won't be seeing that same amount of work on whichever professional team he plays for. Again, it's not even necessarily that he couldn't do it. Although the speed, strength, and physicality at the next level truly is a different beast, so even he would probably struggle with it at times. But the real reasons he's going to play less are deeper than that. For starters, the man weighs in the neighborhood of 170 pounds. This is the NFL we're talking about. He's too valuable a player to be responsibly exposed to that much wear and tear over the course of the season. His injury risk, not to mention the shortening of his career long term, would be significant. No team is going to do that. Will he play a lot? Absolutely. Perhaps more total snaps than anybody else on his team eventually. But while his ceiling for total snaps in college was 149 against Stanford last year, I'd think his NFL ceiling will be around half of that. So where is this nightmare, right? What's the problem? Well, the inevitable talking point will be the scrutinization of his deployment in retrospect. This is so predictable because we already see it with regular stars on a regular basis. How many times have you heard on Monday morning a radio host going on and on about why a starting defensive line rotation wasn't on the field for a critical red zone play that resulted in a rushing touchdown? How many times have you read an article about a receiver group that was on the field when the quarterback threw a back-breaking interception? Titans fans will remember in consecutive years of playoff losses, the games basically ended with Ryan Tannehill interceptions intended for Khalif Raymond against the Ravens, and then intended for a pre-breakout Nick Westbrook-Akine against the Bengals. Why these players were the targets and why they were on the field in the first place instead of blank were questions that we asked for days and weeks afterwards. So what do you reckon will happen when a team has to first decide which position Hunter will primarily play and then decide how much they'll rotate him in on either side of the ball? It's liable to be a Monday morning quarterback's dream. It seems more likely that if Hunter is used on both sides of the ball, it'll be easier to have him primarily play defense and then moonlight on the offensive side of the ball. While some think he's going to actually be a better receiver than he is a corner, it's just logistically more practical to rotate a receiver in on key plays than to rotate a cornerback. Having your best corner on the field for every snap of defense is significantly more important than having your best receiver on the field for every snap of offense. Whichever way it plays out, Whenever something goes wrong without him on the field, his absence in that package is liable to be a question the team is asked over and over that week. While the answer is a simple matter of player management, it won't be one that's easily let go by fans. So maybe just play him on one side of the ball. That's probably what you're thinking to yourself right now. That does seem to be the easy fix to all of this, doesn't it? But unfortunately, I'm not sure that it is. For starters, you're robbing yourself as a team of a player's full potential. But more important to this discussion about the narrative, you're robbing fans of it too, and they're going to know it. The cat is already out of the bag on this. Every fan of Hunter's team is going to know he is simultaneously one of their best receivers and one of their best cornerbacks. Perhaps the best, depending on the team, the side of the ball, and the injury situation. If you're a fan of any team long enough, you can relate to this brand of chatter on the offensive line, for example. Titans fans all remember drafting Peter Skoronski, a stud tackle in college who became the starting left guard in the NFL. And every Titans fan knows that through the turmoil Tennessee has endured with their tackle positions of late, calls to put Peter Skoronski out there on the end rang out for a very long time. We've seen him do it, is what everybody reasoned. Now take that and dial it up to 10 for Hunter. Because unlike Skoronski, who you can dismiss that situation as he lacks the necessary length and the development to play tackle at this point, the only excuse Hunter will have is load management. Because we have seen him do what he can do on both sides of the ball. He's fantastic. The bottom line is this. The team that lands Travis Hunter at the top of the draft might quickly discover both the blessing and the curse of having such a versatile player on your team. For A to Z Sports Nashville, I'm Easton Freeze.